Maybe you need the help of a big, strong man.
Bodybuilding was initially considered the manliest of the manly sports. But thanks to changes in attitudes, health, and perceptions about beauty, as of the 1970s, there are countless female bodybuilders in the world. Having covered the top male bodybuilders in a previous video, it was only natural that we followed up with a list of the top female bodybuilders, breaking things down in a similar fashion by analyzing their physique first, and then also taking other things into account, like the amount of accolades they've received.
Ready to fill me up with some more protein?
No, no, no.
Or the amount of fame they were able to gain. So get your spray tans, thong bikinis, and supplements ready as we break down the top 10 most extreme female bodybuilders. Jodie Marsh.
I've put my body through hell to reach physical perfection.
We begin our list with Jodie Marsh, who is the youngest female bodybuilder on this list and one of the few who weren't a part of the golden age of female bodybuilding that occurred in the 1980s. Like most women on this list, she came from a modeling background in her native Britain, where she is now relatively famous as a media personality, columnist, model, and actress.
I'm the champion of America.
While she may have never reached the size or bulk of some of the women on this list, it's safe to assume that the culprit, if you want to call it that, is the fact that she always prided herself as a natural bodybuilder, meaning that she abstains from using any performance-enhancing drugs to enhance her physique or to add bulk.
I don't believe it. What are you?
A believer.
So while a lot of women on this list have been huge proponents of body positivity, they were all looking at it from a different perspective than Marsh, who wasn't attempting to be unnaturally huge in order to be taken seriously as a bodybuilder or fitness competitor. It's that, combined with her fame in the UK, that places her as the first entry on this list. She's doing things the right way.
But I'm Jodie Marsh and I don't like coming forward.
Which should help keep her both active in the world of fitness competitions and alive in general, something that sadly cannot be said for everyone on this list. Liking this video so far? Show us some love. Click that subscribe button and tap that notification bell. Sharon Bruneau.
Trust me, my wife can beat me up, but this lady is flat out sexy.
Sharon Bruneau is a retired French-Canadian bodybuilder who was born in Timmins, Ontario in 1964.
Your country needs you.
I'm Canadian.
The most decorated and famous female bodybuilder in Canada, it's safe to say that she was a trailblazer for women in the bold, cold north. Like others on this list, she started out as a model, something she found success in until she contracted a serious case of pneumonia, which ended up lowering her weight to a near gaunt level. To get healthy again, she began training with weights. And after finding that she was both adept at putting on muscle and landing gigs as a fitness model, she truly found her calling. She ended up putting on over 50 pounds of muscle during her peak and has been on a lot of fitness magazine covers for rags like Muscle and Fitness as well as Flex. Did we mention she was a trailblazer? Well, we meant it, as she was one of the first ever female bodybuilders to be assigned to Weider Health and Fitness publications as a representative from 1991 to 1998. After she retired from bodybuilding in 1994, she had an equally impressive career as a fitness competitor and then as an actress, making her one of the first triple or quadruple threats in the bodybuilding arena and also on this list. Yaxeni Oriquen. Yaxeni is one of the most famous international bodybuilders on this list. She was born in Cabima, Zulia, Venezuela, as the youngest of 9 children. As a natural beauty, she grew up as a model and had dreams of becoming an actress. At the age of 23, though, she decided to dedicate her life to bodybuilding, and by 1993 found that she was a natural, winning 4 amateur contests and winning her professional card. After winning the Ibero Central American Championships, she decided to use that as an opportunity to pursue the American dream not long after, and did just that, moving to the US and piling up accolade after accolade over the years, with her most impressive showing being her Miss Olympia title in 2005. That makes her the most decorated and successful Venezuelan bodybuilder of all time. And also one of the most decorated female bodybuilders in general, as she's won 5 Miss International titles as well, in 2002, 3, 5, 8, and 2012, proving that she's as consistent as she is great.
I am never, ever talking back to soccer or making her mad ever again.
Tonya Knight.
Believe it or not, you're looking at a former beauty queen, Miss Missouri, 1984.
If there's a golden age of female bodybuilding, Tonya Knight has to have been a part of it, as she competed during the 1980s, an era in which most of the women on this list were active and in their primes. Knight loses a few points, though, because she has a controversial history as someone who has apparently circumvented the rules, which, to be fair, is more common than not in the world of bodybuilding, especially in the 80s. IFBB officials presented strong evidence that she was using someone else's urine to pass tests before competitions.
You can check my urine!
which led them to revoke some of her placements and championships, namely the 1989 Miss International competition, where she placed first, and the 1988 IFBB Miss Olympia, where she placed fourth. Beyond that, she also had to return her prize money of over $12,000, which is a lot of money now, but was definitely a lot of money in the 80s, especially for female bodybuilders. The reason she's on this list at all, though, is that she overcame that bad press and got back on the right path, winning the Miss International title in 1991 without incident. She retired not long after, but she had already proved her point, that she didn't need to cheat to win in an era where everyone was cheating to win.
I'll show you that it can be sexy. No, just kidding.
Rebekka Armstrong.
So when she told me that I was HIV positive, I lost it.
If this list proves anything, it's that there are a few different paths that one can take to make it into the professional bodybuilding realm, from those that came from the wrestling world or those that came from playing sports in their youth. Rebekka Armstrong didn't follow the typical path, however, but she was definitely a household name before she began her career as a fitness competitor, depending on which house you're asking, as she was a Playboy Playmate. As Playmate of the Month in September of 1986, it seemed like the world was her oyster. However, things took a bad turn when she found out that she was HIV positive in 1988.
The only thing I knew about HIV was death.
After she attempted to escape dealing with her newfound status for a couple of years by doing drugs, she eventually came to grips with her sickness and decided to become an advocate for those less fortunate than she was. She announced to the world that she was HIV positive in a September 1994 issue of The Advocate magazine. And with the help of Hugh Hefner and Playboy, she helped create an AIDS awareness campaign. She actually didn't start bodybuilding until about a decade after that, placing first at the 2004 Muscle Beach contest and winning her first 3 contests, which was part of her plan to stay healthy and to continue to beat her disease. As an open lesbian, she's also been a huge role model for people everywhere, and considering that she contracted HIV in the 80s, she's a definite success story from a time when there were so few. Nikki Fuller.
What's your favorite body part?
My body part is chest.
Female bodybuilders aren't as well known for their bulk as their male counterparts. Well, that is, most aren't, but there are always exceptions to the rule. And one of the biggest exceptions to that rule is Nikki Fuller. Born in 1968, Fuller was an absolute beast at her peak mass, coming in at over 250 pounds, with biceps that reportedly measured over 20 inches. To attain that mass, she lifted tremendous amounts, with some of her best lifts coming in at over 315 pounds on the bench press and over a half a ton, 1,100 pounds, for multiple reps on the leg press back in the day before fake plates were even an option. A highly decorated fitness competitor, she also transitioned into wrestling, like many women on this list. And while she never quite became the household name that other bodybuilder-turned-wrestlers like Nicole Bass or Chyna did, she did have a respectable career as an actress, appearing on television shows like Ally McBeal, Arliss, Just Shoot Me, and Nikki. She was even in a commercial for Right Guard Extreme Deodorant with Dave Chappelle, which makes her one of the biggest triple threats on this list: bodybuilding, acting, and wrestling, with the most impressive IMDb to boot.
Really Let healthy. Me die in the gym.
Betty Pariso.
Ooh, the muscles look great. Thanks. Did a lot of reps.
Betty Pariso is a legend in the world of bodybuilding, and of all the women on this list, definitely had the longest and most storied career. Born in 1956 in Kentucky, Pariso, who was born Betty Slade, was a natural athlete who grew up on a farm where she excelled playing sports in high school and attracted the attention of numerous track and field scouts at different colleges around the area. Always in shape, Pariso didn't start actually bodybuilding until later in her life when she was in her 30s, something that she initially did to stay fit and put some weight on when she felt that she was too thin and stick-like. She first competed in amateur bodybuilding competitions in 1988, and by 1996 had earned her pro card at the 1996 NPC Nationals. In doing so, at the age of 40, she became the oldest woman to earn an IFBB pro card, proving that age isn't anything but a number, and that it's never too late to pursue one's dreams. Beyond that, Pariso didn't actually retire from professional bodybuilding until 2010, meaning that she was competing well into her 50s, but not only that, excelling, as she ended up winning her second pro title in 2009 at the age of 53. Thanks to her amazing career, she's won numerous accolades as well, like winning the NPC Nationals or receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award at Europa Dallas. As a pure bodybuilder, she's probably the most decorated on this list, but because she never made the switch over to professional wrestling, she isn't as high on this list as others, simply because she doesn't have the name recognition that others have. But in the world of bodybuilding, you can't get much bigger than Pariso.
A willingness to change your body so much, people wonder if you're even a woman.
Nicole Bass.
Nicole and her cujoes!
Nicole Bass was perhaps best known for her membership on the Whack Pack, a loose collective of interesting guests that appeared on The Howard Stern Show back during its heyday, if by heyday you mean the days in which Stern was extremely politically incorrect. Bass's physique was so impressive that the reoccurring gag on The Stern Show was that she had to be a man, something that understandably upset her as she tried many times over the years to prove that she was, in fact, born a woman. She joined The Stern Show back in 1993 after appearing in the pay-per-view television event, the Miss Howard Stern New Year's Eve pageant. But what many fans of that show didn't know was that she also was a decorated bodybuilder and wrestler, like many women on this list. Perhaps even more than a lot of the bodybuilding wrestlers, though, she was extremely decorated as a fitness competitor, winning the NPC Nationals in 1997 and also participating in basically every tournament possible between the mid-1980s and late 1990s. She began her wrestling career after retiring from bodybuilding in 1998, joining Extreme Championship Wrestling during the first half of that year, which led to a contract with the then World Wrestling Federation, where she debuted as the bodyguard for fellow female wrestler Sable during WrestleMania 15.
Gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Well, it's not porn.
Sadly, like other women on this list, Bass died a premature death, but because of her wide and varied career, it's safe to say that she'll never be forgotten. Lisa Marie Varon.
It's really hard to do pro wrestling at the same time as training for an MMA fight.
Lisa Marie Varon also made her living as a bodybuilder and female wrestler, but what differentiates her from people like Nicole Bass or Chyna is that she had a lot more accolades in the world of bodybuilding and fitness competitions than she did in the ring. Varon started her career in fitness competitions back in 1997 when she joined ESPN2's Fitness America series, and within a couple years was placing high at competitions around the United States, including a second-place finish at a fitness event in New York, which led to her earning her International Federation of Bodybuilders professional fitness card. It was through those competitions that Varon happened to meet Chyna, who encouraged her to join the world of female wrestling. And from there, the rest is history, as Varon became a two-time WWE Women's Champion, as well as gaining accolades in the then-rival Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling under the name Tara, where she became a 5-time TNA Knockouts champion.
Better make it count then, right?
Chyna.
What in the world? Is that a woman?
Now, Chyna is definitely the most famous name on this list, but because she was obviously a lot more well-known for her professional wrestling career than her career as a bodybuilder, we're sure that some of you will take issue with her spot on this list. Regardless of whether or not Chyna, whose real name was Joan Laurer, had a lot of accolades as a bodybuilder, she will still forever be remembered as one of the most physically impressive women to walk the planet. Laurer was also so physically imposing that she often wrestled against men, or was a bodyguard for other female or male wrestlers, which meant that she, like a lot of other women on this list, had to deal with accusations of whether or not she was a real woman. Beyond her wrestling and bodybuilding career, Chyna did a lot for the body positivity movement, appearing in Playboy twice. She was also a pioneer in plastic surgery, as her original breast implants actually ruptured during a wrestling match, which, combined with her sad final days, proved that while she was a beacon of hope for women everywhere, she was never completely comfortable in her own skin, which is really just so sad, considering she's loved worldwide and constantly tops lists like these. Rest in peace, Chyna. You don't need to lift any weights in order to be a hero in our books. All you have to do is click that subscribe button and tap that bell to join our notification squad. And don't go anywhere. Stick around and check out some of our other great videos.